What is up, cultivators? I'm back again with another CCGO episode, and today I am here with the legend himself, the DJ, the man, the myth, the legend. You want to give them your name real quick?
Kevin, Adrian Wilcox, Adrian Marx's KSP, the early morning DJ. Depends on where you meet me, but
Man, where am I meeting you right now?
right now, that's a great question. Right now, I am here as the rapper and the DJ.
Rapper and the DJ. Okay, you said early morning, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you this before we start rolling. So now this is my chance. Well, are you in radio or anything?
Okay, so I had a radio show from like 2018 to 2020 in Lubbock, Texas.
Okay.
KTXT 88.1, shout out to them for giving me my start as like a radio personality. COVID happened. All that got shut down. And I came back to Houston and I wanted to go back to Lubbock and like keep that going, but it just all kind of fell apart. So around that same time, I started like actually DJing like for parties and stuff. Cause broadcasting and like being the radio personality, I was a lot more focused on the talking and I wasn't like doing transitions on the air or anything like that. You know, so we just cue the music up and then we let it play from the beginning to end. So then I started like actually DJing and that was kind of an influence. But the early morning DJ was also because my stage name as a rapper is Adrian Marx's.
Adrian Marx's.
Yes.
Is that your middle name and last name?
That's my middle name, and Marx is from Karl Marx.
Karl Marx. Oh,
Communism.
okay. So are you big on like, I guess literature of like history?
I am, but that was more so just focused on the actual communism part of things and being focused on community and how I try to incorporate that in everything I do in my art and my work.
That's interesting. So when you say communism, I'm sure a lot of people might shiver. Why or what does communism mean to you?
So to me, I have a solid understanding of, you know, the socioeconomical side of things, but for me, it's a lot more focused on just working for the well-being of your community and society as opposed to working for my own self, you know, elevation, I guess. So just trying to do something for somebody other than myself at every point in time, no matter what it is I'm doing.
I see. And where do you think a lot of people get the wrong idea of communism? Where do you see people see you in a different light?
Propaganda.
Propaganda?
It's people don't like communism because they've been told communism was... It's kind of like, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about communism?
Well, I think of like a sickle.
Okay. That's connected to like Russia. And people think of, communist Russia is a scary, dangerous place because they think of Vladimir Putin. And a lot of people don't really like what Putin's doing. And a lot of people think of North Korea. And for obvious reasons, people don't like both these things. But when I speak of it, that's not what comes to mind. I'm just thinking of my people and community and working for the benefit of my community, whatever that community may be and what I'm working towards with all those people.
What would you say is your community?
Right now, I would say it's heavily people of color in Houston and artists and creatives and people who want to use art to like elevate their lives and experiences and be able to get their message out to the world.
That's cool. So would you say you're in touch with the community right now?
I think I'm doing my part to get to where I need to be with my community.
Okay.
So part of that is this seasonal event that I'm doing now, which is called Radio, which is an event of me DJing and promoting local acts and artists, and it's seasonal, so it's only going to be 4 times a year. So spring, summer, autumn, winter. And I'm trying to curate for the people who are going to be outside in those specific time periods and what they want to hear and the feeling that what they're trying to feel in those time periods, you know?
Okay. And so you're thinking of this all in advance right now. Like, is this your first year doing it?
Yes. So we had spring in March. The summer one is going to be in 4 days, something like that, less than a week away. Then obviously autumn is going to be in September, winter is going to be in December. So yeah, so far the March one was great. I'm really excited for what we have coming up for summer and, you know, see how far we can take it.
Yeah.
You know?
What are some strategies you've implemented to promote these events?
So I feel like I've had a relatively strong community around me, and like a lot of the people I work with I've been able to become friends with them. So it's kind of just been, in the beginning, it was just kind of like my network, like people who already know me and they care for me and what I do. So they were willing to show support and promote it without me having to do the absolute most.
So more like word of mouth and stuff.
A lot of word of mouth for that kind of thing. And then they tell their people, and then a lot of their people are working in similar parts of life. A lot of them are artists, a lot of them are production specialists, a lot of them are graphic designers, you know, so I've found myself just surrounded by people who do things similar to what I already do. So it just kind of made sense, you know.
That's awesome. What's a story someone gave you of their experience from one of your events?
That's a great question. Does it have to be a good story?
That could be a bad story, yeah, man. Hey, man, tell your story. Go ahead.
It was a friend of mine who was going through a breakup at the time.
Okay.
And the event kind of was a catalyst to that situation. But then eventually it like fixed itself. This isn't a great story to like tell because I'm trying not to put people's business out there.
Yeah.
You know, but
is it because like the event was so fun and such a great time, or like it kind of opened up a door that might have been previously closed?
It's kind of like that because it's like at these kinds of events, you know, it's everybody. It's not the biggest party in the world. It's not the most intimate thing. It's kind of like that sweet spot in the middle where you're able to see people and interact and like still vibe to the music and like see the acts and everything. So I think that feeling of camaraderie kind of like still brought everybody together in that moment. I can't speak on his behalf and say exactly what it was in that moment that like brought them back together, but like it happened there. So like,
what kind of music was playing
at the exact moment that they came back?
I mean, like throughout the event, like what kind of music?
So Radio Spring was very heavily into like blog era hip hop.
Blog era hip hop?
Yeah.
What's that?
So that's like a lot of rappers from like the early 2000 to early 2010s, and like, so I'd say from everything from like 2008 up to like 2014 or 15. You know, we had like that switch in how music was distributed to people when like
from streaming to streaming platforms
coming into streaming, and it started with Soulja Boy. And when he started putting his music on the internet, everybody started putting their music on the internet. So a lot of stuff that stemmed from that, even though people may not necessarily recognize that that's where things started, there was a shift. There was a very strong cultural shift. And, you know, it's like an ongoing joke at this point that like Soulja Boy says he was the first one.
Oh, he does everything. Yeah.
But he actually kind of did.
I already invented mathematics.
I did too, actually.
Yeah.
He invented math, science. I don't think they did geology before Soulja Boy popped out. So like,
yeah,
all of that was him.
Yeah, he's kind of the original. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Soulja Boy, man.
Shout out Soulja Boy. If you're watching right now, hey, shout out. I'm still waiting for my gaming console. Still waiting. Yeah, that. If you know, you know. All right, that's cool. That's cool. So I'm curious then. Early 2010s, blogger music. Is that what inspires your music?
My music is kind of inspired by a lot of what I just grew up listening to, which some of it was blog era music. A lot of it is like, I'm a rapper who likes pop music.
Okay.
So I think oftentimes you can hear the pop influences and the stuff that I do. And like, I kind of took a break from making music, and some of my older stuff is not like as clear, but with a lot of what I have coming now, it's very, very evident. Like, okay, he grew up listening to Michael Jackson. He likes The Weeknd. He likes, you know, Pitbull, you know, that kind of stuff.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
cool.
You can hear stuff like that in the way I make music now.
When you see yourself in 5 years, where do you see yourself?
Hopefully self-sufficient with my art, being able to support my life, my family, my community, my friends, just being able to create and just live for that. Because I feel like a lot of us are in that weird space right now where it's like, yeah, I have a 9-to-5, but like, hopefully I'm not doing this for too long because I want this is to pop off. And also just being able to do that for the city of Houston, where it feels a lot more viable for people to do the things that they want to do. Because Houston is in a great spot right now where I feel like every corner I go on, I meet somebody new with a new talent and they're trying to promote their business or their hustle, whatever the case may be. And at the same time, I'm meeting a lot of people who feel like in order to like truly make it, they need to go out to Cali. They need to go out to New York. I feel like Houston is so big and has so much talent and has even just land. Houston is like literally large. So we shouldn't all have to go out somewhere else. Like, we should be able to build something here. And like, y'all are doing a great thing here, like being a part of that and giving people a platform to like elevate their crafts and whatnot. So shout out to y'all too.
Hey, appreciate it. Shout out to you. Thank you.
So yeah, hopefully I could just play my part in giving Houston that boom that it needs right now.
That's awesome, man. So are you from Houston?
I was born in Houston, moved to Nigeria when I was 3, came back to Houston when I was 14, 15.
Okay, so you moved to Nigeria when you were 3 and you were there from 3 to 15?
Yeah.
Why?
Family stuff.
Been
around.
I got you.
And then coming back, my family wanted me to go to college in the U.S., and Houston was already kind of like the home base, so it just made sense to come back here. And then I was in Lubbock for 4.5, 5 years. Then I came back to Houston after I graduated. So yeah.
I'm curious, do you have any like Nigerian influence in your hip hop? Like, would you say that there's some of that culture that you experienced from 3 to 15 that resonates, or not resonates, but comes through in that your current music?
Especially in like the production side of things is a lot more evident, because I feel like the current sound of Afrobeats may not necessarily sound like what I sound like, but I think sometimes I hear something and I'm able to recognize that, oh yeah, I did that because I heard so-and-so do that 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's kind of become like a if you know thing. And I don't expect everybody to get it, but like if I get the chance to like explain certain choices in the music and the production to people, then like they'll see the connection, you know?
That's awesome. Where are some popular places you go in Houston to perform? Have you performed?
I've performed a few times in Houston. Pop-ups, picnics, and performances is a great one. My friend Sion, who's a Houston artist, started putting on these shows in Houston, just promoting local artists.
Then where's that at?
It moves around. Okay. So
how do people get in contact with them to be a part of that?
I believe it's just Pop-ups HTX on like Instagram. So like, yeah, just hit them up and see what they got going on. They post a lot for whatever they have going on. Wonder Like Wander is a great place for promoting local talent. They have all types of stuff. They have art shows. They have performances. I don't know if they do the like open mic events as often as anymore, but it's also just a venue that like lets people come in and do a lot of stuff. Those are probably the 2 biggest ones that I've done in Houston. There's a few. What was that Taco Tuesday joint that I did? I don't know.
Hey, I'm going. I love Taco Tuesday. You got me at that part right there.
Whenever I figure out what it is, I'll send that to you. But yeah, it's a few cool ones in Houston. Like everybody's trying to promote something, and a lot of people are doing a good job of that right now.
That's cool, man. So what's some advice you give inspiring artists, maybe younger you?
Younger me? Just do that shit, man. I was so terrified to like put stuff out. Like my first EP, mixtape, whatever you want to call it, it was an accident. I posted it on SoundCloud and I tried to do like a private link, and so I could like send it to my friends. And then somebody that like already followed me on SoundCloud, they were like, hey, when did you post this? Like, what is this? I was like, what are you talking about? And then they're like, this is you. I was like, oh, okay, fuck it. I guess it's out there. And then people were like, oh yeah, like this is cool. Wait, can I cuss?
Fuck it.
Yeah, it's true. It is, even if I couldn't, I already, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I feel like I let myself very early on be really like frozen and trying to like overthink everything I was doing, and I was way too focused on trying to be perfect. But like the closest I've gotten to perfection was by actually doing something, putting it out there, and then being able to like receive feedback or even be able to think about how I feel about what it is I'm doing, you know, because I could be in the studio 12 hours a day and not put any of that shit out. Nobody cares. And it's not that you have to do everything you do for somebody else's validation, but it's also like, share. You don't know who needs that. You don't know who needs to hear that. You don't know who that message might resonate with, you know? So that, as well as just, there's also still a balance, you know? So I don't want to, if I had to go in the past, there's certain songs that I wouldn't have put out because I was kind of just like, oh yeah, this is, you know, let me just throw this shit out there and stick to the wall. I don't really care about it. But like still care about your craft, but, you know, and have fun with it. That's really what it's all about. If I wasn't having fun, I wouldn't have made it this fucking far.
What's some advice you give somebody to get over their fear of releasing their music? Other than, would you say like some actionable steps they could take is just drop it, just do that?
Sometimes it's way easier said than done. So as far as like what you could actively do is I don't know, it's hard because we're also in like the era of snippets, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Oh, like screen recording your song and putting it out there. What y'all think?
Yeah, because it's like sometimes it comes across like it's kind of pussy, and not for real. Like it's kind of pussy because it's like, okay, they're not fucking with it. So now what? Now you're just not gonna put out this.
Yeah, like 3 people said they don't like it.
You know what I'm saying? That you might really care about when the person who's really gonna feel it didn't even get a chance to see your story. And also, I think when you put in the time behind the scenes, when you spend 20 hours making that song versus you spend 5 minutes making it, and you really care, and like you need to get to a point of being as confident in your work as possible. And I think that comes from actively trying to make something better instead of already feeling like you're making something great. So you should believe in yourself, because I'm not going to tell anybody not to, but don't believe that you're the greatest that you can be, because there's always going to be room for improvement. So if you're able to recognize that and consistently look at things and this was good, this wasn't that good, but I can improve this. And then when you improve, when you have that kind of checklist and you've knocked everything out and you realize like, okay, this is like the best I can do for this moment, let me actually put it out because somebody might need that, you know? So I think it boils down to like the 10,000 hours. Like you can't fake it. You can't fake the 10,000 hours. You actually have to like put the work in.
Awesome, man. So where can people find you?
Adrian Marx is on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. AdrianTheMarxist@gmail.com if you want to send me a beat. Adrian Marxist.
Is there anything we're missing?
TBB Tuesdays. That's for the upcoming album.
You have an album coming out?
The album's not coming out. Yeah, it's coming out July 2nd. Adrian Marxist and Saint. Saint is producer out of Dallas, Texas. He's been cracking on everything, so he's going crazy. Yeah, we got a tape coming out together. And TBB Tuesdays, I've kind of been using that to promote things. So that's like the run of singles. So every Tuesday for the past month, I've put out a song from the tape. That's been going pretty well. And I'm really excited for that, actually. A little bit of that is going to be played at Radio Summer too. Like, yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Awesome. I'm excited for you, Kevin, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you. That's it for today, Cultivators. Y'all make sure to tune in, check out the music, check out the tape coming out, and we'll see you in the next episode. Like, comment, subscribe,
all that.
Peace.